Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really getting into something I think affects pretty much everyone. It's all about how we actually make good intentions stick, achieve those goals we set, that we all set them, those like big, exciting plans. But then, well, that's often where the real work starts, doesn't it? Stay motivated, following through. It's tough. I want to kick things off with something that really flips the usual thinking on its head. It's from James Clear. He says, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Wow. It's a big statement, right? It sort of suggests it's maybe less about just gritting your teeth and more about having the right setup. So our mission today is to dig into the science behind motivation. We want to help you understand how to actually engineer things, your environment, your thinking, so those big goals become habits. Real, everyday habits. We're aiming to pull out the absolute key insights for you. Cut through the noise, get you informed on this stuff without it being overwhelming.
Exactly. And, understanding these ideas isn't about finding some magic button for motivation. It's really about seeing that motivation isn't this fixed thing. You're not just born motivated or not. What the research really points to is that it's a skill, something you can actually build and get better at over time.
Okay, a skill.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Because I think, a lot of us feel like it's just either there or it's not. So if we can build it, where do we start? What's the foundation? What actually gets us going? And maybe more importantly, what keeps that fire lit? We hear about internal versus external drivers. Is one really better in the long run?
Yeah, that's a really crucial distinction. And while the concepts might sound familiar, the science behind their impact is quite compelling. You've got intrinsic motivation that comes from inside you, things like genuine passion, a sense of purpose, or just plain curiosity. Enjoying the thing itself, you do it because you find it interesting or fulfilling. Then there's extrinsic motivation. That's the external stuff. Rewards like money, grades, praise, or maybe avoiding punishment, hitting a deadline someone else set. Now, what the science shows, pretty decisively actually, is that intrinsic motivation. That's the stuff that fuels long-term success and deeper satisfaction too. When your goals are tied to your personal values, something that resonates deep down with who you are, well, you're just much more likely to stick with it when things get tough.
Right, when it gets hard.
Exactly. So a really practical thing you can do, constantly ask yourself, why does this actually matter to me? Really matter. And then, this is important, keep that answer visible. Maybe it's on a vision board, or scribbled in a journal, or even just your phone's lock screen. Making that connection to your values, it fundamentally changes things. It shifts commitment from feeling like a chore to feeling more like a calling,
That makes total sense. That why is huge for just getting off the starting blocks.
Mm-hmm.
I remember trying to learn French once purely because I thought it sounded cool.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't last long. But when I later tried Spanish because I wanted to connect with relatives, totally different story. That stood mine.
Yeah.
But okay, once we find that why and get started, how do we keep it going? Day in, day out. Because let's be honest, the finish line can feel miles away sometimes. That daily grind is where motivation often just disappears.
Which brings us to this idea of small wins. Are those tiny steps really that powerful? Seems counterintuitive almost.
Oh, absolutely. They are incredibly powerful. This is basically the power of small wins concept. Your brain is actually hardwired to respond to progress, even tiny bits of progress. When you accomplish something, even something small, your brain releases dopamine.
Ah, dopamine. Okay.
Yeah, the feel-good neurotransmitter.
Yeah.
But it does more than just make you feel good. It actually reinforces the action you just took. It tells your brain, hey, that was good. Let's do that again. It creates this positive feedback loop. It's science.
Okay, wow.
So the actionable tip here is pretty game-changing. Break those huge goals down, into ridiculously small daily or weekly wins. And don't just do them. Track them. Celebrate them somehow. Actually acknowledge them.
Yes. Even if it's just a mental check mark or ticking a box or a quick note, did it? Acknowledge the progress. This builds momentum. Seriously, it's like building a wall, brick by tiny brick. And connecting back to the bigger picture, these small wins, they're literally how you build sustainable habits.
Right. So find the why. Celebrate the small steps. But I still feel like most of us get hung up on the goal itself. The outcome, I want to lose 20 pounds, or I want to write a book. Is focusing so hard on the finish line? Is that maybe part of the problem?
That's a very common pitfall, and it highlights this really critical difference between a goal and a system. A goal is the result you want, right? Run a marathon. A system is the process, the routine, the actions you take regularly that lead to that result.
Okay, the how.
Exactly, the how, like lay out running clothes the night before, or run 3 times a week, follow a specific training plan. Motivation, as we said, it can come and go. It's unreliable.
Yeah, definitely.
But a good system, that makes the action more automatic. It reduces how much you need to rely on willpower, which we know is finite.
So you're saying build a machine that does the work for you, almost.
In a way, yes. Think about practical systems you can build. Habit stacking is a popular one. That's where you attach a new habit you want to build onto one you already do without thinking.
Right.
Like, maybe you want to meditate for 1 minute. You could stack it after you brush your teeth. Toothbrush down, sit down, meditate.
Oh, okay. Using an existing trigger.
Precisely. Or things like time blocking, literally scheduling time for your goal actions in your calendar, using simple to-do lists, or getting an accountability partner. All these things are systems. And it raises that key question: how do we make doing the right thing less about forcing ourselves and more about it just happening? Make it automatic.
I love that frame, making it automatic, not relying on willpower. It's like designing your life so success is kind of the default path. And speaking of automatic, how does our brain actually learn these things, these automatic behaviors, these habits? Is there like a scientific model for that? How does that loop work?
Yes, there is. Behavioral science often talks about the habit loop, or sometimes the motivation loop. It's generally seen as a 4-stage process. It goes cue, craving, response, reward.
Okay, cue, craving, response, reward. Break that down.
Right. The cue is the trigger, the thing that kicks it all off. Could be a time of day, a place, an emotion, another person. The craving is the motivation part, the desire you feel for the expected outcome or feeling. The response is the actual habit, the action you take. And finally, the reward, that's the payoff, the satisfaction you get, which tells your brain, remember this loop, it was good. And that reinforces it for next time.
So understanding that loop means we can kind of hack it.
Yeah, exactly. You can use it to build good habits and also to break bad ones by disrupting the loop. So a really powerful way to apply this is to consciously design your environment. Make your cues for good habits obvious and cues for bad habits invisible.
Give me an example.
Okay, want to read more? Don't hide your book in a drawer. Leave it right on your pillow or your bedside table. That's an obvious cue.
Makes sense.
Trying to eat healthier. Get the junk food out of the house entirely. Remove the cue, remove the temptation. Make the desired response, eating something healthy, easier, and the undesired one harder. You're basically architecting your surroundings for success.
This has been incredibly insightful, seriously. It really hammers home that core idea. It's not about needing superhuman willpower. It's about having a smart strategy grounded in how we actually work. We've seen motivation isn't just something you have or don't. It's a skill. You build it. You build it with purpose, with those systems, and by acknowledging your progress along the way.
Absolutely. And when you manage to align those goals with what truly matters to you, your values, and then you back them up with solid, repeatable systems, well, success starts to feel less like a long shot and more like an inevitable outcome. And maybe a final thought to leave you with, drawn from the kinds of insights we've discussed. Discipline equals freedom, systems equal success.
That's powerful. Discipline equals freedom. Systems equal success. Lots to chew on there. We really hope you take these ideas, think about your own goals, and start building those systems for yourself. Thanks so much for diving deep with us today.